Beloved Taurus, the moment you've arrived at is not random. You were not brought here by accident, nor did you stumble upon these words by mere chance. No, my dear, your soul has been led here by invisible threads of destiny, woven intricately through time and space, guiding you toward the awakening that is now upon you. May 2025 is no ordinary month. It carries with it an energetic weight, a spiritual pulse that vibrates directly into the heart of your sign. It begins with Pluto retrograding through Aquarius, asking you, commanding you, to re-examine the roots of your place in society, in friendship, and in the collective field of influence. It whispers, are you seen for who you are, or are you playing a role to be accepted? And deeper still, who do you become when no one is watching? And before we go deeper, take a moment to anchor yourself into this space. If these words are resonating with your soul, if you feel seen, guided, or even gently challenged, don't keep this journey to yourself. Subscribe to this channel and leave a comment below. Share what you're sensing, what you've survived. You never know who your truth might help awaken. But this is only the beginning. On May 10th, Mercury enters Taurus, your sign, your domain. Your thoughts become tools of clarity. Your voice becomes a sword of calm truth. And then, just 2 days later, the full moon in Scorpio rises like a tide from the underworld. It brings with it revelations that cannot be ignored, feelings long buried, and truths long silenced. Scorpio, your cosmic mirror, reflects your own depths back to you, asking if you are truly living in alignment with your soul, or merely surviving in a life built to protect others from your power. Under this lunar gaze, the veil lifts. You begin to notice what you've tried to deny, the presence of a woman in your life whose energy is not aligned with light. Perhaps you've seen her in social circles, a face framed with changing hair, often adorned with eye-catching ornaments, bold makeup, loud fashion. But all of that, dear Taurus, is camouflage. Beneath the shimmer is something else. An energy like stagnant water masked with perfume, a smile too practiced, compliments that taste like honeyed poison. She is not necessarily evil, but she is in pain, and that pain left unhealed has turned her into someone who channels her envy into silent intentions, intentions that seek to undermine, to disrupt, to confuse. You may have felt this already, a sudden heaviness, fatigue without explanation, friendships that cool for no clear reason, self-doubt that creeps in like smoke beneath a locked door. You may have begun to wonder, are these thoughts even mine? Beloved, they are not. What you're experiencing is energetic interference. It is spiritual smog projected onto you by someone who does not want to see you thrive. But listen to me now. You are protected. The energy that surrounds you, ancestral, divine, grounded in generations of silent warriors and intuitive healers, will not allow your downfall. The cards have spoken. Justice has emerged, upright and unwavering, declaring that what was sent in darkness will be returned in equal measure. That which was twisted in whispers will be straightened by truth. And still, the tower appears, not to frighten you, but to liberate you. What crumbles now is what was never meant to stand. Masks fall, false connections dissolve. That woman and those who conspire beside her are already beginning their descent, though they may not yet know it. What they tried to summon against you will become the lesson they must learn for themselves. The universe is not cruel, it is just. And you, Taurus, are not here to seek revenge. You are here to remember who you are, to rise from the ashes of confusion and return to the clarity of your own sacred rhythm. You are the earth itself, stable, abundant, slow to burn, but unstoppable once awakened. This month, the sun will conjunct Uranus in your sign, and with it comes a crack of divine lightning, insight, sudden shifts, liberation from what has kept you small. This is the moment when you stop asking for permission, when you stop apologizing for the power of your presence, when you stop making yourself palatable to keep the peace. This is the time to reforge your boundaries, not with bitterness, but with truth, not from anger, but from love for yourself. Set the intention daily. Clean your space with sacred smoke, salt, or sound. Speak your truth aloud, even if your voice shakes. Offer your dreams to the moon. Leave water on your altar for your ancestors. Touch the earth with your bare hands. These rituals are not superstition, they are remembrance. They are your roots calling you home. And know this, dearest Taurus, you are not alone. There are unseen hands guiding you, spirit allies walking beside you, grandmothers in spirit singing your name in prayers, woven from lavender and tears. The moment you declare your freedom, they will surround you like a circle of firelight. You have never been abandoned. You have never been forgotten. What you are living is not a punishment. It is a preparation. You are being initiated into a deeper truth, a greater purpose, a more sacred way of walking in the world. And all that falls away now is simply making space for the glory of what's to come. The energies that circle you now are not meant to test you. They are meant to awaken you. For far too long, Taurus, you've walked with the weight of silence. You've been the strong one, the dependable one, the root others clung to in their storms. But no one asked whether your own soil was dry, whether the roots that held everyone else were, in truth, struggling to hold on to themselves. Now, in this sacred unraveling, the truth is rising like incense through the chambers of your soul. Yes, someone has cast a shadow in your direction, not with overt cruelty, but with something more subtle, more insidious. Manipulation veiled as care, concern laced with jealousy, affection that felt conditional, transactional. You noticed the energy long before you allowed yourself to name it. Your body knew, your spirit flinched. But you, ever loyal, ever loving, tried to see the best. You gave the benefit of the doubt. You tried to understand her pain. But understanding does not mean absorbing. Compassion does not mean sacrifice. You are not here to be the container for someone else's unprocessed wounds. Let's speak of this woman again, not with judgment, but with spiritual clarity. Her power was never in her rituals or her words, but in your openness, in your sacred softness, in the part of you that wanted to be loved so deeply that you left the door open for anyone who smiled with familiar eyes. But the lesson now is this: not everyone who enters your space is meant to stay. Some come only to teach you where the cracks are in your walls, so that you may reinforce them, not with concrete, but with discernment. She may have spoken words behind your back. She may have joined with others who echoed the same frequency of envy and unspoken rivalry. You might not know the full extent, and you don't need to, because Spirit sees what you cannot. The universe has already begun to shift the scales. The path ahead is one of release. When Mercury and Taurus forms harmonious aspects in the coming weeks, your voice will regain its authority. Your thoughts will anchor, not swirl. You will begin to articulate boundaries with elegant strength. You will stop saying yes when your heart whispers no. You will no longer shrink to fit into spaces that were never built to honor your magnitude. And then, something will begin to shift in your physical space as well. The heaviness will lift. Conversations that once drained you will lose their grip on your attention. Rooms that once welcomed you will feel too small. And most telling, people who once praised you will begin to pull away. Let them. Their absence is not a loss, it is a cleansing. The universe is asking you to make room, dear one, not just for peace, but for your true soul tribe. Those who recognize your light without trying to dim it. Those who do not fear your depth, your devotion, your discernment. Those who celebrate your wins like they are their own. They are coming, but you must release what is no longer aligned. Saturn's continued journey through Pisces reminds you of your spiritual responsibility to yourself. It asks, where have you ignored your own emotional boundaries in order to maintain false peace? What contract, spoken or silent, must now be rewritten? The old ways will not carry you forward. This is a season of spiritual redefinition. The rituals you begin now will echo into the years to come. Choose them wisely. Let your morning begin with silence, not scrolling, not consuming, but listening to yourself, to spirit, to the beat of your own heart. Let your night end with cleansing. Light a candle, sweep the energy of the day from your aura with intention. Offer gratitude not for perfection, but for truth. Let your relationships become altars, sacred, mutual, honored. And when doubt arises, as it will, remember, the seeds you plant now will not bloom overnight, but bloom they will, because the garden within you has been waiting for this, waiting for the weeds to be removed, waiting for the rain to wash away the residue of old wounds, waiting for the sun to return, and it is returning, slowly, steadily, just as you do. You, Taurus, are not just surviving this betrayal, you are transmuting it, alchemizing it, turning poison into power, not by denying the pain, but by using it to strengthen the foundation of your own self-worth. So stand tall, speak truth, honor your journey even when others do not understand it, because this is not the end, it is the middle, and from here, the real transformation begins. There is a moment in every sacred transformation when the soul turns inward, not to escape, but to listen, to feel, to make peace with the echoes that still linger from betrayals not yet fully released. You are in that moment now, Taurus. The world around you may not notice the quiet revolutions taking place in your spirit, but make no mistake, they are monumental. It is in this silence that healing begins. Not the kind of healing that erases pain, but the one that integrates it, sanctifies it, and allows it to become wisdom. With Jupiter nearing its ingress into Gemini later this month, you are on the verge of an expansion, not just in your outer life, but in the way your mind works. Old patterns of self-doubt and people-pleasing are loosening their grip. Your thoughts are being rewired with every act of self-trust, every choice to honor your own intuition over external voices. But let us return to the energy that brought you here. That woman, the one whose presence disturbed your inner sanctuary, was a catalyst, not by virtue, but by contrast. Through her envy, she reflected the brilliance of your light. Through her interference, she revealed how sensitive your field truly is. She taught you, unwillingly, where your energy was leaking, where your trust was blind, where your longing to be seen left you exposed. This does not make her a teacher of merit, but of necessity. And now you must close the portal she entered. Spiritual boundaries are not simply about distance, they are about reclamation. You must reclaim the pieces of yourself that scattered in the chaos, your voice, your dignity, your clarity. You must call them back, one by one, like a sacred invocation. I return to myself. I return to my knowing. I return to my path. Perform this act not once, but often. Write her name on a page if you must, and burn it under the next waning moon. Speak aloud your release. Say, no more. Bury the ashes in the earth and let Gaia herself compost the remnants of this false connection. For Earth is your ally, Taurus. She does not rush, she does not pretend, but she transforms all that is given to her, pain into growth, decay into nourishment. Under the current sky, as the sun slowly inches toward its conjunction with Jupiter, you are being cosmically prepared to reclaim your joy. But joy cannot root itself in soil poisoned by resentment. This is why forgiveness, not for her, but for yourself, is vital. Forgive yourself for the red flags you ignored, for the love you gave so freely, for the times you swallowed your truth to avoid conflict, for the hope you held like a candle in the wind, even when it was burning you more than it was lighting the way. Forgive because you are worth the peace that comes after. You were never naive. You were open-hearted, and if that made you vulnerable, it also made you powerful. Because sensitivity is not weakness, it is sight. You saw everything before it was spoken. You sensed her energy shifting before she took any action. But like many souls who walk in love, you wanted to believe it wasn't true. Now you know, and in that knowing, there is liberation. Your spiritual team is closer than ever. Your ancestors whisper to you through synchronicities, that song playing at the exact right moment. That dream where someone long gone places a hand on your shoulder. That feather, that number, that deep breath you took when you almost fell apart but didn't. If something in this message has stirred you, touched a hidden part of you, or simply reminded you of your worth, pause here, breathe, and subscribe to this sacred space. Leave a comment, even just a few words of what you're feeling. Let's build a community where vulnerability is power and healing is shared. You are being guided, but guidance is only half the journey. The other half is courage. Courage to walk away from what drains you. Courage to say no. Courage to build new dreams on foundations that honor your soul, not just your survival. Take this time to rebuild, not quickly, but deliberately, with intention, with soul. Start small. Clean your altar. Write your boundaries, revisit old passions, wear colors that mirror your inner transformation, place selenite or obsidian at your bedside, bless your food, pray with your hands in the earth. This is not about religion, it is about re-enchantment. You are not here to live a life of defense, Taurus. You are here to create, to enjoy, to teach by simply being. Your strength is not in how much you can endure, it is in how deeply you can remain rooted in yourself no matter the storm. So stay rooted, stay clear. Let those who try to diminish you watch in silence as you rise, because you will. You already are. Taurus, we are entering sacred ground now, the heart of your transformation. This is the part of the journey where the world outside may remain the same. But within you, everything changes. Your soul has already crossed an invisible threshold, and though you may not see it yet, you are no longer who you were. As the sun journeys deeper into your sign and aligns with Uranus, the planet of sudden awakening, a veil lifts. Your intuition sharpens to the point where lies can no longer hide. Your body, your energy field, your inner compass, they've become tuned instruments, alert to even the faintest vibration of truth or deception. And this awareness, dear Taurus, is your new superpower. You are no longer merely reacting, you are sensing, discerning, choosing. And what you choose now will shape not just your future, but the version of yourself that steps into that future. This is why it matters so much to speak of what was broken. Not to dwell in pain, but to honor the wisdom it gave you. You once allowed yourself to believe that loyalty meant staying, even when it hurt. That love meant giving endlessly, even when nothing was returned. That peace meant silence, even when your soul was screaming. But now you know better. Loyalty is not blind obedience, it is sacred mutuality. Love is not depletion, it is nourishment. Peace is not absence of conflict, it is the presence of truth. Let's speak of the silence you've endured. The smiles you wore when your heart was heavy. The conversations you didn't start because you knew they would end in manipulation. The truths you swallowed whole just to keep someone else from feeling exposed. And still, they turned against you. They envied you for a light you were barely letting yourself shine. They feared your strength when you were still learning to use it. They resented your grace because it reminded them of what they hadn't yet become. But you must understand, their reaction was never about you. It was about what you mirrored to them. You triggered the places in them that remained unhealed. You walked with dignity they hadn't yet earned. You stood in calm where they only knew chaos. This doesn't excuse them, but it does free you from carrying the weight of their choices. You are no longer responsible for how others respond to your authenticity. What matters now is how you respond to yourself. This is the season where you choose to walk forward not from fear, but from alignment. When the full moon in Scorpio peaked, it dug into the roots of your emotional life. It showed you where cords needed cutting, where energy needed reclaiming, where cycles needed ending. The revelations it brought may have felt painful, but they were medicine. They were initiation, and in its aftermath, you are called to purify. Physically, emotionally, spiritually. Cleanse your space. Cleanse your friendships. Cleanse your inner dialogue. Ask yourself, what am I still holding on to that was never mine to carry? Whose voice still echoes in my mind, telling me I am too much or not enough? Who am I still trying to prove myself to, and why? These questions are not rhetorical. They are portals. Answer them, and you will begin to retrieve the fragments of yourself that were lost in those toxic dynamics. The pieces you gave away in the name of love, approval, or peace. Call them back. You do not have to earn your place in this world by making yourself smaller. You are not here to apologize for your depth, your beauty, your power. You are here to embody them, to inspire others by example, not by sacrifice. And though the road ahead may still bring echoes of the past, they will no longer haunt you, because you have changed. You are not just healing, you are remembering who you were before the betrayal, remembering what it feels like to be whole, to be clear, to be free. Soon, as Mars enters Leo, your self-expression will ignite. Your voice will carry new resonance. Your confidence will rise, not from ego, but from alignment. You will speak with authority. You will move with purpose. You will no longer ask for space. You will take it, not out of defiance, but out of reverence for your own spirit. And the universe will respond. The path will open. The right people will find you. The blessings you once had to chase will now be drawn to your field like magnets, because they recognize you, because you are no longer dimming your frequency. And still, Taurus, I must remind you, move slowly. Do not rush the integration. This is a time for sacred rebuilding. Lay each brick with love, rest when needed, grieve what's ending, celebrate what's being born. You are in the middle of something holy, something that cannot be measured in timelines or milestones. It is the rebirth of your soul. And now, dear Taurus, we arrive at the sacred threshold, the space between who you were and who you are becoming. You stand here not by accident, but by alignment. Every challenge you've endured, every betrayal you've transcended, every truth you've dared to face has brought you to this moment. This is where rebirth begins. Not with fireworks or declarations, but in the soft, steady decision to return to yourself again and again and again. There's a stillness that follows spiritual storms, a quiet not of absence, but of integration. That is where you are now. The universe has heard your prayers. Your ancestors have watched you weep in silence and rise without applause. Your guides have seen the weight you carried with grace and the times you chose love when bitterness would have been easier. This is why what comes next is not a reward. It is a natural result of the work your soul has done. You have become a vessel capable of holding light, of transmitting it, of calling it in and letting it reshape you. And soon, very soon, life will start to mirror back the inner transformation that now defines you. Relationships will begin to feel different. Conversations will shift. Your desires will evolve because you've evolved. With Jupiter preparing to shift into Gemini, your attention will turn toward expansion, mental, social, spiritual. You may feel the urge to explore, to study, to connect with new ideas and people. This is not restlessness. It is readiness. You are no longer drawn to what simply fills space. You crave what fills your soul. In this new cycle, vulnerability will not be a risk. It will be your strength. You will stop explaining your sensitivity as a flaw. You will stop making disclaimers before showing your heart. You will stop apologizing for needing depth, presence, honesty. Because now you know, these are not weaknesses, they are your compass. And as your compass realigns, so too will your environment. People may leave. Let them. Chapters may close. Honor them. You will grieve, yes, but not from emptiness. You will grieve from completion. You are no longer looking for someone to save you. You have become the anchor you were waiting for. And from that place of self-rooting, everything shifts. Opportunities once blocked begin to appear. The blessings that seemed distant begin to approach. Your energy no longer leaks into black holes of unreciprocated care. Instead, it circulates, it regenerates, it multiplies, and you, Taurus, you will glow. Not from the approval of others, but from the peace of knowing you no longer need it. This glow will attract those who are ready for you, not intimidated by your power, not threatened by your peace, but drawn to it, inspired by it, ready to match it. You are not too much. You are not too soft. You are not too intense. You are exactly as you were meant to be, an incarnation of Earth's strength and Venus's grace, walking the world as a bridge between what is practical and what is divine. So what now? Now you live, not half-heartedly, not cautiously, not in pieces, but fully, out loud, rooted in your truth, radiant in your presence, and free. Free from the opinions that once defined you, free from the patterns that once confined you, free to build a life that feels like home, because you finally feel at home within yourself. This, Taurus, is not the end. It is the rebirth, and it is already unfolding. If your spirit feels lighter now, if clarity has found you, if these words felt like a homecoming, don't walk away in silence. Subscribe to the channel and let your voice be part of this healing field. Comment below. Let the universe hear you, because your story, your energy, your presence matters here.